Hello everyone, and thank you for being here for another weekly analysis. And remember, if you like these videos that I do every Sunday before the market opens, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I make one of these videos. I appreciate you being here, and don't forget to comment or ask questions, or if you have any kind of inquiry, I do reply to anyone that comments or has a question too. So let's just have a review of the trade setups that I shared with you in the previous week's video. And of course, I always start with gold. And if you remember, I said no trade. I was waiting for a reversal. We've been seeing gold bearish, dropping very, very hard and very low since the 22nd of August. And it continues to be bearish, not turning around just yet. And but I do have a trade set up for this week's video. All right, because I do expect gold to continue its bearish run and to drop even further. So I didn't take any trades last week, so nothing to review there. Let's go and look at the major currency pairs. I said there would be no trade on the Euro-US. 2 weeks ago, I did have a buy trade, but that one didn't work out. Okay, that hit the stop loss, obviously. The Euro has just come crashing down like a sinking ship. So there was no trade this week, but my buy limit from the previous week did get stopped out. But this week has been very, very successful. From the last week's video, if you remember, I had a sell limit on the odd US at 0.6730, and that did execute back here on Tuesday morning. And if you follow that all the way down to Friday's close, you made 215 pips. Very, very good trade. The New Zealand US, which trades very similar to the odd US, also very, very good trade. The sell limit was 0.6000, and that did execute on the on the Monday morning, the very next day after my video. And if you follow that down to Friday's close, you made 270 pips. Then the pound US was a real cash cow. Not the best trade this week, but it was a real cash cow. With the sinking of the British pound on Friday from that terrible news that the new Prime Minister released, and we just saw a huge crash on the British pound, lower than it's been in nearly 40 years, I believe. So the sell limit did execute, okay, back on the Tuesday, and then if you follow that all the way down to Friday's close, a massive 610 pips on that trade. Then to those Japanese pairs that I follow and trade when I have a setup, the sell limit on the odd JPY was 96.50, and that did execute on the Tuesday. And then if you followed that down to Friday's close, that was 310 pips. And then the CAD JPY was no trade. The sell limit was 108.40, and back here on Tuesday, it was about 7 pips short. So it didn't reach the sell limit, and the trade did not open, so there was no trade on the CAD JPY. The Swiss JPY, I had a sell limit on that at 14872, and that did execute back on Tuesday. Yes, on Tuesday. But then depending on where you had your stop loss, you would have got stopped out, and it was a massive move up. And this was the raising of the interest rate on the Swiss franc on the Thursday, and it just made a massive move up, took off like a ballistic missile, but then came crashing down. So if you took that trade at that sell limit that I had at that same price, 148.72, you made a massive 510 pips, because the distance between the top that it reached and the bottom that it reached was something like 700 or 800 pips. So from the sell limit price, which I gave on the video last week, to the bottom of where it reached on Thursday, in one day, you could have made 510 pips. And then finally, the pound JPY, and here is the best trade of the week, the real cash cow. GBP JPY, there was a sell limit on that at 163.85, and that did execute on the Tuesday. And then 4 days later, okay, the same thing that happened with the pound US. You know, the bad news comes out from the Prime Minister, and then the pound went crashing down a massive 850 pips in just 3 days. So a very, very profitable week. So let's look at what we have coming up for this last week of September 2022. So looking at the trade setups that I have for this upcoming week, the last week of September 2022, and remember, this is what I see happening in the markets. This is my perspective on what's going on in forex. These are my trade setups. I'm not suggesting or recommending that you take the same trades. You can if you want, but it's up to you to manage your own risk, to choose your lot size, to place your stop loss and your take profit accordingly. I will share with you what I'm looking at, the trades I will take, and the entry prices for the limit orders that I use. So looking at gold first, what's been happening with gold? Well, you can see on this H4 chart, it's been trading sideways between about 1660 and 1680, although on Friday it did make a big drop below that and closed at 1643. So we have resistance at 1680, which was our support, very strong support for a long, long time, but it broke below that last week, and now that has become resistance. Support becomes resistance. And for 6 days in a row is trying to break back above 1680, but not been able to. Just went above and then closed back down below, both on Wednesday and Thursday, and then on Friday it couldn't make it back to 1680. So we have support at 1640, just below where we are now, and then the next level would be 1628, and then below that 1606. And I do have a sell limit that I'm looking at. I'm going to place that at 1670, and that is between the first two resistance levels of 1660 and 1680. I would normally probably place that at 1680, but on Friday it couldn't get that high, so I'm going to take the difference between the two resistance levels of 1660 and 1680. I'll place my sell limit at 1670. And why am I placing a sell limit? Because I do believe that gold is going to continue down, and the reason for that is that it's typical, it's almost predictable that in the last week of the month you will see profit taking on gold, and you will see a decline, a sell-off. So we could be getting down to our other support levels, 1628, even 1606, or possibly even lower. But it is so typical that at the end of the month you will see profit taking on gold, and you'll see gold continue its decline. So I have a sell limit at 1670. So looking at the four of the major pairs that I do have trade setups on, and the euro not looking very healthy, likely to continue its bearish run. So let's let it pull back a little bit after that big drop on Friday. I have a sell limit on the euro US at 0.9800. Then the odd US, I also have a sell limit on that. Everything is bearish against the US dollar. It's been getting so strong, stronger than it's been for more than 20 years. Sell limit on the odd US with the entry price at 0.6600. And then a sell limit on the New Zealand US with the entry price at 0.5810. And one that I'm not really sure about is the pound US. A sell limit, of course. The pound is in such terrible shape, and it's lower than it's been in about 40 years. So I have an entry price of 1.1310. That's quite far away, as you can see. Whether or not it will retrace and make a correction, a pullback that far, I'm really not sure that it will do that. So this trade might not open, might not execute. We could see the pound just continue its dramatic move down. Some analysts are saying, $1 for 1 pound. I don't know if that will happen, but certainly the pound is bearish. There's no good news at all that we can hope for that we'll see a recovery in the pound. So it continues its decline, but I'm not going to chase it. Okay, if it will pull back and correct, and then I can get a better price. I have a sell limit on the pound at 1.1310. And then the four Japanese pairs that I trade, the odd JPY, very likely to continue down. We saw the Japanese government central bank saying on Friday that they would intervene and prop up the Japanese yen, or maybe that was on Thursday. Yeah, it was on Thursday of last week. And so we're seeing some strengthening of the Japanese yen. That means the the Japanese pairs will decline, those that are paired with the Japanese yen. So I have a sell limit on the odd JPY, entry price at 94.50. And with the CAD JPY, a sell limit at entry price 106.00. And the Swiss JPY entry price 146.65. And the other one that I'm not really sure about because it's the pound, a sell limit with the entry price at 158.60. And you remember this one gave us over 800 pips profit last week, and it's made just a huge drop on Friday. So whether or not it will be able to recover and retrace and pull back to my entry point, not sure. Have to wait and see. But again, I'm not going to chase it. I'll hold on, wait, be patient. I'm not greedy. Be patient and wait and see if it will come back to my sell limit and give me a good price, and then I'll be in that trade. So that's it for this video for this last week of September 2022. Remember, if you like these videos, I appreciate it if you would subscribe and be sure and click that little bell so you'll get notification every time I make one of these, which is every Sunday before the week starts trading. Thanks again for being here. Have a great week of trading, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.